Alright guys, today we're going to work with the law of cosines. The last day or two we've talked about the law of sines, and this is what you do if you cannot use the law of sines, use the law of cosines. And this is what it looks like. Basically, you use the law of cosines when you can't use the law of sines because the law of sines is much simpler, to be honest with you. This is not difficult, and it's really just Pythagorean theorem when you do not have a right triangle, but here's what the law of cosines looks like, and it depends on which side you're looking for as to which formula you're going to use, for which law you're going to use. If you're looking for side A, you're going to use that one. Side B or angle B, use that one. Side C or angle C, we're going to use that one. And basically the formula, you kind of gotta know it, but if the whatever side is here, that's the angle that's here, and the B and C are on the other side. Same thing here, B here, B at the end, A's and C's in the middle. C's here, C's here, A's and B's in the middle. So however you need to learn that, find your method. I think after we do the assignment tomorrow, you'll pretty much have it. Okay, here's a good example of one when you're going to need it. And I went ahead, to be honest with you, and did the work at the bottom just to speed the video up a little bit. Please stop it, take notes as you need to. But I just want to show you and talk through it more so than you see me actually do all the, the monotonous work that makes the video last a little longer. So here's a triangle ABC. Side A is 32, C is 48, B is 125.2. And the reason you can't use law of sines here is because you don't know anything. Like, for example, side B and angle B, you don't know both of them. Angle A, side A, you don't know the opposites. Angle C, side C. For law of sines, you have to know one pair of opposites. In this case, we don't. So you're going to have to use law of cosines in that case. So because I know angle B, the smartest thing to do, really the only thing to do, is to use side B. So I'm going to say B squared is A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cosine 125. And remember that equals B squared. So I punch this whole line in my calculator right here. Make sure you're in degree mode. Gives me this number for B squared, 5,098.8. And because it's B squared, I'm going to take the square root. It gives me 71, which tells me side B is 71. Once I know that, now I know the opposite side. That right there is 71. Now because I have those two, now I can use law of sines. So when I do law of cosines, I just use it one time and then kind of go from there with law of sines. So I set up here trying to find side C, just like we've done the last couple of days. Find C is 32.8. Once I know angle C, I already know angle B, so just add those two together, subtract them from 180 and get angle A. That's all there is. So the only new real step is using the law of cosines one time to find the first thing that I need, or the first missing piece that I need. Let me show you one more case. Oh, this, for example, one more thing I need to say. This was side, angle, side. And when you have side, angle, side, you do have to use law of cosines. Okay, the other case, do you have to use law of cosines, is if you know all three sides. Because you don't know any angles, you don't know opposites there, opposites there, opposites there. So to find all three angles, again, you can't use law of cosines because you cannot use law of sines. So it's your pick which one you want to use first. I went ahead and did big S. I'm going to find angle S first. So I'm using that formula for the S squared. And what I did first, I went ahead and solved it for the cosine S. So like I moved the R squared over, the T squared over. I divided by negative 2RT and got that. So then I just put the numbers in from the triangle, right where they go, which gave me this decimal equals cosine S. Now because I'm looking for an angle, I use inverse cosine or second cosine on my calculator, and it told me 95.9 for S. Once you get your first angle and you have the 95.9, that's right there, 95.9 degrees. Now you have the opposites right there. So now you can do law of sines, which is what I did right here. I did law of sines like we did yesterday, the day before. Cross multiplied, divided, got angle R. Again, because I'm looking for angle R, I had to use the inverse sign at the end of that. And once I knew angle S and angle R, I added them up, subtracted from 180, got T is 36.3. So again, if you use law of cosines, just use it once. Once you find your first thing, a missing piece, you will have opposites or opposite side angle, and you can do law of sines again. Okay, and this slide right here is just a summary of when to use which one. Really the only two times you need to use law of cosines is if you have SSS or if you have SAS. Every other time, law of sines. Now, if you have all three angles, AAA, you can't do anything. All right, we don't even have one for that, so you're kind of stuck. You can't find the sides if all you know are the angles because it doesn't angle size doesn't determine side length necessarily. So anyway, that's a good little slide to look at. And if you want to take a picture of it or write them down, that's good. But basically, if you have opposites like little c, big C, or little b, big B, little a, big A, you can use law of sines. If you don't, you must use law of cosines. All right, I'll work on these tomorrow. See you then.